Hey, good people, how you doing? David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all's going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. Have another FAQ, frequently asked question video today. This is where we answer email questions, YouTube questions, and kind of share the love. And we figure, one person, two people have these questions. A lot of people may be wondering about it, and the feedback we've been getting on these has been amazing. Keep your questions coming. You can email your questions directly to me at thenextlevelguitar@yahoo.com is the email address. Just put question for David in the subject line. We're in 2019, and this is the 14th Q&A video. Q&A 14 of 2019. The year is just flying by, right? Got a question from Martin in the UK. Hi David, just watched your recent Q&A series. Love what you're doing. However, you mentioned about obtaining a free guitar jam track and ebook by clicking on the link below, but I can never find the link below on my web page, and this happens all the time. Please, can you help? And what am I not doing to obtain this information? Cheers, Martin. First off, Martin, greetings from the USA, right? And okay, here's a couple things to remember. When you're watching YouTube videos, a lot of times below the video, you have to click on that little triangle, and that opens up the YouTube description box, right? So look below the video, click on the triangle, it opens up the YouTube description box, and that's where, for not just my videos, but most people put links to their music or links to other lessons, but that's where you'll find everything. And I'll have a link in there below for the jam track code. So just click on that. It takes you to a page. You put in your email address and I send it to you for free. No problem. As well as, if you're ever having a problem getting a product from me or getting a free ebook or whatever, the free tabs or whatever I put out there, you can always email me. Just drop me an email. I'm easily reachable. You can get a hold of me. Drop me an email at thenextlevelguitar@yahoo.com. Be sure to include your email address and your name and let me know what you would like, and I'll make it happen. All right, I'm here to help. So just, drop me a line. Gibson Player asks, I really like the YouTube videos you do, and your new band really rocks. I would like to know if you'll be doing any music shows in other states anytime soon. Keep it rocking. Well, first off, thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you like our videos. I'm so happy I can help you along with your guitar journey. And thank you for your kind words on my new band, Mind Cell. We just released our debut record. And so glad that you like it. Thank you for checking it out. The record just dropped a few weeks ago, so now we're just starting to book local shows throughout, Southern California, San Diego County, Los Angeles, Orange County. And then after that, we're going to see where it takes us. I would definitely love to do some touring behind the record, maybe start up a tour of the West Coast, but who knows? The sky's the limit. We'll have to see where it goes. I wouldn't be opposed to touring through other parts of the country or other parts of the world even, A lot of it comes down to, now, that the record is done, the hard work is not over. In fact, it's just kind of beginning, because now comes the process of trying to get the record out there and get it in everyone's hands so they can hear it and, kind of spread the word and seeing what's available as far as different playing live options all over the country. So I will keep everyone informed. Right now, you can catch me live, playing mostly in Southern California. And you can go to, my band's Facebook page, which I will put links to below, or the band website, and you can check out where we're playing. Would love to see you at a live show. If you can come, certainly come up to me and let's talk. We'll have a beer or an orange soda pop or something and talk guitar and gear, and it would be great to meet you. So if you can come out and see me live, certainly come up and let's chat. Dan S. asked the question, David, what's the best guitar for starting out? Thanks. I have a few suggestions for you. You didn't mention if you're looking at acoustic or electric, right? So that's a big question I get a lot, is like, when I'm first learning, should I learn on acoustic or electric? And you could learn on either, right? And you want to learn on the one that's going to be the most empowering and the most motivating to you. If you want to learn acoustic, by all means, start on acoustic. If you want to learn electric, you could start on that. That being said, I think playing electric at first is easier for the beginner, because with an electric guitar, the strings are going to be lower, the action will be lower, right? It'll be a little easier to play. The strings are not as thick, and you don't have to get your arm around a big acoustic guitar, right? So playing the electric is a little bit easier at first than acoustic, but that doesn't mean you can't learn first on acoustic. So you want to balance it between that playability and what sounds best to your ears. If you really want to play acoustic, then by all means, you could start with that. That being said, if you're looking for an acoustic guitar to start with, a couple things. Get one with a solid top. not a laminated top or a plywood top, because solid top instruments are going to sound way more, have more tone, sound way better than a laminate top. And you could get a good solid top for $250 to $350. Seagull company kind of makes a good one. Fender makes a good solid top guitar. Yamaha, I mean, most manufacturers will make, Washburn will make a pretty good solid top for beginners in that $250 to $350 price range. Solid top for sure. The back and the sides probably won't be solid, but that's okay. Get that one with a solid top. The other thing is, whatever acoustic instrument you get at first or electric, make sure it plays easily. It plays well. You don't want a guitar with the action, so far off the strings you could drive a truck through it, right? You don't want to be fighting the instrument, whether it's an acoustic or an electric. So it has to be set up well and easy to play, because getting over the physics of the instrument, getting your fingers to bend in those chord shapes, that's going to be hard enough at first. You don't want to be fighting the instrument on top of that. And that's what turns a lot of people off to guitar. They get an instrument and doesn't play that well, and they're trying to learn on it, and they're having more problems than they should, and they get discouraged. So a well set up instrument, so important. The other thing is, you want to make sure you get an instrument that stays in tune. Playing with an instrument that's constantly going out of tune is just awful. The chords will sound terrible, and it'll be so demotivating and unempowering because it's not going to sound good. And a lot of the really inexpensive instruments, they're not made all that well. So they're not going to stay in tune that well. Remember that on stringed instruments, where you're stringing strings between 2 points, like the guitar peg and the bridge, there's a tremendous amount of tension on these strings that's constantly pulling on the neck. That's why most guitars have this metal rod called the truss rod that runs through the neck to add stability, because those strings are constantly trying to make the guitar do this, and the neck wants to stay straight, and it's pulling, right? So you got to have quality workmanship and quality woods in there. Otherwise that guitar is going to keep flexing and moving, and that's what's going to keep knocking it out of tune. Other reasons it could come out of tune also, but so you want to get a decent made guitar that's going to be easy to play, stay in tune. I think you're going to have to spend between $250 and $350. As far as an electric guitar, you might want to get something on the used market, because you can get a little better quality than if you were to buy a new, like the made in Mexico Fender Stratocaster. You can get a used one, $300, these days. Look on your local Craigslist, but that's a good electric guitar for beginners. A lot of companies make a good beginner electric guitar. You can get in that, $300-400 range, $250, if you're savvy, with your negotiating skills. And if you want a great tool to really help you with your lead guitar journey, I'll send you my Jam Track Coach. It's an awesome practice tool. Basically, I'll send you 6 killer sounding jam tracks and 2 ebooks. Call it my Jam Track Coach. In the ebook, the first one, I go over all the tracks one by one and explain the chords and some things that you could try over them, some soloing strategies, why they work, and I do that for each track. And then in the second ebook, I have all the scales diagrammed out, and there's more information in there. So it's a killer 1, 2, 3 punch, so to speak. It's the Jam Track Coach. Just click on that link below and I'll send it to you for free. Jeff asks, what do you recommend for practicing guitar at quieter levels? I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and the only time I get to practice consistently is when they are napping or sleeping. I don't want to wake them from their sleep, but I want to be able to hear if they wake up. Jeff, that's a good question, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have a similar question or in a similar situation where they can only, get their practice time in when they put the kids down. You don't want to wake them, but you have to be able to hear them, right? So what a lot of people would say first, if you want to play quieter or not disturb anyone, is wear headphones, right? And have an amp that has a headphone jack, or if you're playing on your computer, headphone jack on your interface, right? And this way you won't disturb anybody. But you can't do that, because with the headphones on, you won't be able to hear them, right? So what you need is a practice amp that sounds good at really low volume, right? And there are some practice amps on the market that sound incredibly good, and that you can tone them down really to lower volume levels, and they still sound pretty decent. So you want to look at these amps and see if they have the functionality that you want. Some of them are packed with different types of effects. Some have Bluetooth in them. Some have ways that you can hook up auxiliary 1/8-inch jacks. You could put jam tracks in with them, right? There's lots of different technological advances in the practice amp industry. So let me make a few suggestions. The Yamaha THR series is really good. I've been following those since they first came out because they make some really good sounding amps in small packages that are packed with features, all kinds of different modeling sounds and all kinds of different effects. And they, in fact, have just made a 2.0 version of that amp where they've made it even better. So check that amp out. They sound really good at low volumes. Also, other amp companies like Roland, the Roland Cube amp, they make a small little cube amp that has a lot of different effects in it also that sounds really good at low volume. And you just want to get a little practice amp, something small that, right, you could put up there on your desk or on the table when you're jamming and playing and the kids are asleep, and this way you'll still be able to hear them. But the main thing is, you want an amp that's going to sound good at low volume. Because a lot of great sounding amps on the market, as soon as you start turning the volume down, away goes the tone. Question from Jeff. Do you have any suggestion for mastering complex strum patterns while changing chords? And then his question goes on. He's been having some trouble performing chord changes when strumming these complex patterns. Everything seems to fall to pieces, and says that the strumming pattern is often the soul of the song, and he really wants to play it correctly. Thank you, David, for all you do. You've helped me a lot over the years. Best regards, Jeff. Jeff, that's a common question I get where students have trouble with complex patterns with changing chords. And I can give you a few suggestions on that. The first thing is make sure whenever you're playing, chord changes and you're practicing complex patterns that you have to have the chord changes down cold, right? So if you're practicing a certain chord change, make sure you have those changes down before you start throwing a complex pattern on top of that. Because if you're stumbling through the changes, then there's no way. Then that's going to throw your timing and your rhythm off, and you're going to have multiple problems. So you always want to make sure you have the changes down cold. So if not, practice the changes with easier patterns, and then bring in the difficult patterns. The other thing is make sure that when you're trying to get complex strum patterns down and you have them down cold so you can put it to the changes, if you're having trouble with the pattern itself, just practice that and break complex patterns down into smaller, more digestible pieces, right? For instance, if you have a pattern like this, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. That's a complex pattern, but it doesn't seem as complex if you break it up into pieces. First piece, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. You practice that, down, up, down, up, down. Then the next piece, down, up, down, down, up, down. Put them together, down, up, down, down, up, down. Down, up, down, down, up, down. Then the last part, down, up, right? Just a one N, eighth note, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Breaking the patterns down into smaller patterns makes it so much easier to assimilate the rhythm, right? And the other thing too is once you get that pattern down and practice it slow, put it to the chord changes. But a big mistake I see is students try to play those chord changes with new patterns at record tempo. And that's a mistake. They try to strum too fast at first. Because remember, the faster you're strumming, the faster you have to make those chord changes. And if there's a tricky change in there, right, it's going to throw you off. So you want to practice the changes with the complex patterns slow at first. Slow. As slow as it takes to make the chord change. Break the pattern down. Get the pattern assimilated so you know it cold. Get the chord changes cold on their own, right, with easy strum patterns. Then meld the two slow, then bring it up to record tempo. It takes some time, but with strumming and rhythm, you'll find if you do that repeatedly, you'll start to get more in the habit of being able to assimilate these trickier patterns faster. And then pretty soon, you won't be thinking strum patterns in terms of ups and downs. It'll be more just kind of rhythmically flowing, and you'll be able to lock it in by ear. And that just takes a little bit of time, but you will get there, because sometimes you can kind of be thinking about the ups and downs too much, and it's kind of throwing you off. You want to be more freewheeling, and that just comes with time and practice. You'll get there. Let me know what you think of those. If you have any follow-up questions, drop me an email. Joey asks, was your video for Alpha Omega inspired by Soundgarden? I just dropped my debut record with my original band, Mindcell. Just came out a few weeks ago. And we did a video for the first single, Alpha Omega. I'll put a link to that video in the YouTube description box in case you haven't seen it yet. Check it out. I assume he wants to know, is the song based on Soundgarden? And that's interesting that you say that, because basically a lot of the feedback that I've been getting so far from the record, and it's been overwhelmingly positive, and I so appreciate it. And if you haven't checked out the record, I'll put links to where it's streaming and all the digital platforms where you could buy the digital record, and also where you can get the CD. I'll put those in YouTube's description box below also. And some of the comments I get as far as sounding like other bands, there's 3 other bands that most people are saying that we sound like, that we're pulling our influences from: Tool, Alice in Chains, and Soundgarden. I write a lot with off timings. You know, I love writing in 5/8 and 6/8 and 7 and even 9 and 11/12. Just my thing, right? And a lot of the music is more progressive, kind of hard rock kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, and that's pretty spot on. 3 of my big influences are Tool, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. So, you know, we kind of, and I write, you know, a lot of off timing riffs, and that's kind of Soundgarden. A lot of their stuff, just such killer riffs, right? So was it an influence? I guess so, but it wasn't necessarily like I was thinking about that when I was writing that song. When I wrote Alpha Omega, I was just sitting there, you know, trying to write some riffs, and I came up with that main riff. It just kind of hit me after playing with the different notes a while. That's in drop D tuning. I came up with the riff, and then I was like, wow, this is cool. I kind of went with it, and I started putting some chords together. I came up with the chorus, and the song I just kind of wrote from there. It came together pretty quick. But, you know, like I always say, you know, we're kind of all, as players, amalgamates of our influences, right? What we listen to, we take a heavy dose of this band, we take a heavy dose of this player, and him and her, and this guy, that girl, right? And then a heavy dose of you, and you all mix that up, and it comes out to be your playing. But it's kind of like we're an amalgamate of our influences. So yeah, so that's where some of that came from. Great question. Let me know what you think of the record. Leave me your feedback and insights. Would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Hope this FAQ session has helped you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for checking out our channel here and for your support over the years and years. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. That really helps us to keep bringing the content, as well as will alert you when we have a new video out, right? Leave a comment below or a question. Let us know how you like this video, what you'd like to see coming up, what lessons, what gear you'd like to see reviewed. Stay tuned. Got tons and tons more killer content and lessons coming soon. Don't forget, get that Jam Track Coach. It's an invaluable practice tool, right? Click on the link below. Send you the 6 killer jam tracks and 2 ebooks for free. My Jam Track Coach from Next Level Guitar. And please check out my new record, just recently released with my original band Mind Cell. The record is titled Absolute, and I'll put links to it below in the YouTube description box. You can get the actual physical CD if you like, or you can get the digital copy of the album, or you could stream it. It's on most digital platforms, and I'll put a bunch of links to that below. Be sure to check that out and let me know your feedback. Would love to hear your insights on the record, as well as if you have questions about the guitar tones or about the songs or about the production or the studio techniques that I use. I think it's a slamming record. I'm David Taub, co-creator of Next Level Guitar. You are the good people. Thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate your support over the years and years. Be sure to get your questions in. You can email them to me, or you can put them right below. Let us know how we can help. Remember, share the video. If you like the video, click the like button. It really helps us out. Thank you so much. And remember, your guitar playing is an evolution.